Yo guys, Subnautica here, welcome back to another list of Subnautica. Today I'm going to talk about the top 10 creepiest creatures in Subnautica. So these are the type of creatures you rather avoid than you come across, because these ones are really scary. Subnautica is a really beautiful game, but it also brings some negative side effects with it, like the Blighter. Even though these creatures are really scary, they are also really cool to see. And they also bring a really nice atmosphere to the game. Because you really want to avoid them and you really don't want to find them in the game, even though you might have to encounter a lot of them in this game. Alright, so let's get back to the list. I chose 10 creatures I find pretty scary in this game, so keep in mind this list is based on my own opinion. If you think I missed a creature in this list, just let me know in the comments. Alright, let's get going with the first creature in this list. Number 10. So let's say you were just chilling around in your spaceship. At a certain moment, the alarm starts ringing and you have to go to one of the life pods in order to survive this crash. Now when you're just starting to gather some resources, you see that your spaceship explodes. For some reason your character thinks it is a great idea to make a submarine and start going to the Awara. When you get close to the Awara, you find out that there are some really big scary creatures around. Like this weird blue-red kind of snake thing that is just swimming around. This big beast notices that there is an unknown enemy close to it and it attacks you. You might survive it, you might not, but at a certain point you will get to the Awara, which is your spaceship, and you think that you have had it all. You think it can't get any worse. Well, that's what I thought as well. So you go into the Awara. I won't show you the whole Awara thing in here because spoilers, but once you get in a certain room, these guys are all over the place. Despite being really small, these creatures are still pretty scary. They just suck onto your arm and they won't let go. All you can do is just punch it in the face until it let go of your arm. This creature sucks blood out of you and stores it in its big sack. This creature will do a constant amount of damage of 5% as long as it remains attached. The Awara isn't the only place where you can find this bleeder. There's also an aggressive plateaus, kelp forest, sparse reef and the lost river. So keep an eye out on them. The reason I put it in this list is because it has like a really small jump scare when it attacks you and attaches to your arm. And the first time it happened to me, it just scared me. So I thought, you know what, let's just give this bleeder a place in this list. The Blighter is just like the bleeder, a really small creature. Despite being this small, it will still attack you. The Blighter has one attack and that is its bite. When it bites you, it does 7% damage. Most of the time this creature will just attack you when you get close to it, so make sure you stay away from it. The Blighter doesn't do a lot of damage, but still I think you rather avoid getting bitten than get bitten. You can find this creature in one biome, which is the blood kelp zone, but also in the caves from the blood kelp zone. So if you get there, just keep an eye out for the Blighters, because if you get too close to them, they will probably just attack you. The next creature in this list is the sand shark. The sand shark is a creature you might encounter in this game very fast. That is because this creature mainly lives in aggressive plateaus and you might come there very fast to find resources. This sand shark has one attack as well and it is a bite, and this bite does 30% of damage, so stay away from these as well. The sand shark mainly remains close to the ground because it likes to dig itself in under the ground. There is a very small chance that it will come to the surface, and this most of the time just happens when it follows you when you are trying to get back up to get some air. The reason the sand shark is in this list is because the creature looks really scary, and when it moves also moves really weird. It kinda looks like it has some kind of spasm or something. The sand shark lives in the crash zone, in the dunes and in aggressive plateaus. The sand shark also has the ability to drop some eggs. If you want to find a sand shark egg, you have to go to the aggressive plateaus and go look there for one. Then just put it in your aquarium and it will hatch in only one day. You can compare the sand shark to a real life shark, because once it hides in the ground, you can see its fin. This is also something you can see with real sharks, but then it is of course above the surface of the water. So if you think a sand shark is hiding in the ground, just look for its fin and you know where it is. And if you know where it is, you know that you shouldn't go there. The Mesmer is a creature that is, unlike the other creatures in this list, defensive. This means it will only attack you once the player approaches this creature. And the reason they attack you is they hope that you flee from them. And the Mesmer has a really unique way of doing that, because it hypnotizes the player. When you see the Mesmer, it will try to manipulate the player's mind. During this manipulation, the player hears the PDA tell them a message. This message is: it is your primary directive to swim close to that beautiful creature. Swim closer now. It looks so friendly, do not resist, don't struggle, go closer. And this is basically what happens when the Mesmer manipulates you. You will get close to the creature until you are close enough to the creature to bite you. When the Mesmer bites you, it does 35% damage, and I think that is a lot, especially for a creature from this size, because it is pretty small. The creature lives in a few biomes, which are mainly the Kush zone, the Mushroom Forest and the Lost River, but you are also able to find them in the Kelp Forest caves, so not in the Kelp Forest itself, but only in its caves. The reason this creature is in this list is because it has a really unique way of fighting the player, and it also looks really scary. I actually think this creature is really cool. I really love how unique this creature is with its manipulation attack, to call it like this. Anyway, if you don't want to get manipulated by the Mesmer, just make sure you stay away from him, because the Mesmer is most likely to attack you when you get close to him. So if you don't want to get manipulated, just stay away from him. The next creature is the alien drone. This small robot is created by the precursors in order to maintain the precursor bases. That is also why you can only find these alien drones close to the precursor bases right now. Besides maintaining the precursor bases, the alien drones also have to make sure that no intruders get in. Well, at least they attack the intruders that get inside the precursor base. The alien drone is capable of walking on walls right now, but that might be removed later on. Like I said, you can find the precursor drones or the alien drones only around the precursor bases right now. I think that right now you can only find them in the lava castle base, but later on you will also be able to find them around the other precursor bases. These alien drones act aggressive to the player, and they will use their welding tools to attack you. These welding tools only do 3% of damage, so that isn't really a lot, and it is actually still pretty safe to go inside the precursor bases even though they are there. These alien drones also kind of look like the cave crawlers, which you can find in Awara and some other places as well, but they have a lot of similarities. Also, if you try to attack the precursor droid, every time you hit it, sparkles will come off it, and when you destroy it, it will explode. So that is pretty cool. So first this thing was called a precursor droid, but they changed the name to alien drone for some reason, I'm not sure why. Anyway, the reason that this creature made it to this list is because it kind of looks like a spider, just like the cave crawler. That one also kind of looks like a spider, and I really hate spiders. So that is why I put him in here. And also it is a pretty new creature, it was just added a few weeks ago. So yeah, even though I think it is really cool, it is still pretty scary, so that is why I added in this list. The precursors didn't only create a precursor droid or an alien drone, whatever it is, but they also created a warper. And this creature is really unique because it is able to teleport. So the next part might have some spoilers. Well, at least it does have some spoilers. Because there is a reason why the precursors created the warper. So the reason the precursors created a warper is because there is a disease on this planet we play on in Subnautica. It is the Awara disease. And the precursors created the warpers to try and eliminate all the creatures that are infected with this Awara disease. So when we are infected with the Awara disease, these warpers will also attack us in order to try and eliminate us because we have the Awara bacteria. These warpers will be around in a lot of biomes, like the active lava zone, the blood kelp zone, the deep Grand Reef, the dunes, the Grand Reef, the inactive lava zone, the Lost River, Mountain Island and the Sea Treader's Path. These warpers will try their best to try and eliminate all the creatures on this planet that have the Awara disease. And it has some attacks for that. So one attack of the warper is the teleport. It can shoot a ball at you, which teleports you to the warper. So now you are really close to the warper, and then it is able to use its next attack on you, which is the claw attack. The claw attack will do 30% of damage and the teleport will do 10% of damage, which is actually a lot. If you first uses its teleport to get you close to him and then its claw attack, it will just get to 40% of damage. The thing with these teleport balls is that they are really easy to avoid, so don't be scared of them. So another thing this warper can do is open up a portal to spawn other creatures from the biome you are in at that moment. So imagine a warper is attacking you, it can just open up another portal, and let's say you're on the grassy plateaus, then there is a possibility that a lot of sand sharks will come through it to attack you, which is actually really cool. I think this creature is also really unique that way. Of course, it is also the only one that is able to create portals and teleport itself, but still, I think this is really cool. So these warpers are in a lot of biomes, but you can also find them close to the precursor bases, where they will basically just guard a little bit and they just swim around there. The main reason I added the warper in this list is because it looks really scary. From close you can actually see its organs and stuff like that. And even though I really like this creature, it is still really scary. The next creature is the crab snake. The crab snake can only be found in one biome, which is the jelly shroom caves. The crab snake only has one attack, and that is grab, and it will do 35% of damage. When it does this attack, it gets really close to you and it actually just uses its two front teeth or something, I'm not sure what it is, like the claws, to grab you, and then it will attack you. The crab snakes are also pretty unique because they live inside the mushrooms. These crab snakes also have some kind of jump scare effect when they jump out of their mushroom to attack you or attack some kind of fish. That is why it makes this creature pretty scary, because you don't know if the creature is inside the mushroom or not. So if you get close to one of the mushrooms, it can just jump out of it and attack you, or maybe you're lucky and there is no crab snake in it, and you can just grab some eggs, because that is what they do inside these mushrooms. They leave eggs inside there, so if you want to have a crab snake egg, you might have test out your luck and just try and see if there is a mushroom without a crab snake in it, and then you are able to grab it. Sometimes these crab snakes just get out of the mushroom and just patrol the area around it, or just swim through the cave just to find some other things. Maybe they like to hunt or something, I'm not sure what they are doing. But that's basically what can happen then. Sometimes they will just be roaming around in the cave. You can only get inside these mushrooms when there is no crab snake in there. So if the crab snake left and you want to go in there, that is fine, but just make sure that you get out fast. Because if they are going back inside the mushroom with you inside, you will just probably be stuck. Also, if you want to explore these jelly shroom caves, make sure you are in a sea moth. Because if you are inside of one of the submarines, they won't attack you. So that is something to keep in mind when you go inside these jelly shroom caves. The next creature is the crab squid. This is one of the creatures that I think is one of the scariest one around. Not really because of its attacks or jump scares or something, but just because it looks so scary. It has like this big brain and it kind of looks like a spider as well, and I just really hate it. The biomes you can find this crab squid in is in the blood kelp zone, in the deep current reef, and in the lost river. The crab squid has an EMP attack. Things like the sea glide, sea moth and sea bases are affected by this EMP blast. So if I was you, I wouldn't really come close to them. If the player gets close to the crab squid while inside a sea moth, it will probably just use its EMP blast and then it will come after you to do 20% damage on the sea moth. The crab squid is attracted to light, and this means that you are able to distract it using flares or lights from other vehicles. Even though it wouldn't be really useful to do that with a vehicle, because it will probably just turn out its power, so just use a flare for it. If the crab squid attacks you while you are not in the sea moth, you will take 40% damage, and this is pretty much. Also in the future it might happen that the crab squid eggs will be implemented. It will be really cool to have like a baby crab squid inside your aquarium. That is something I would love to though. Maybe then it is rather cute than scary, I'm not sure. Well, I don't really think that I have to introduce this creature, because I'm talking about the sea dragon Leviathan, and I think that every Subnautica player or watcher knows what this creature is. The sea dragon Leviathan is one of the biggest creatures in the game right now, which makes him really scary. It has some different attacks. It has the bite, which kills you instantly. It has the sweat, but it's basically just like some kind of punch it gives you. It just smacks you in the face and you get 40% of damage. It also can do a fire breathe, which basically just is like some kind of fire thing, like a dragon. It will just breathe fire, which is really cool, and it will only do 20% of damage, which isn't really a lot. But still, it is basically, you just don't want to get fire breath. It can also shoot a meteor, which does 80% of damage, which is really a lot. So just make sure that if you are close to the sea dragon Leviathan, just get away from there, or you will probably just die. Because if it bites you, you are so fucked, you would just get killed instantly. And you don't want that. So the sea dragon Leviathan mainly lives in the active lava zone and in the inactive lava zone. So if you go to one of these biomes, you know that there is a sea dragon Leviathan, and be prepared. So again, spoiler alert for this part, because I'm telling you something more about the story. Because the sea dragon Leviathan was the creature that made sure that the Awara bacterium was released on the planet we play on in Subnautica. Around 1000 years ago, the sea dragon Leviathan was captured by the precursor race, and it was put inside the disease research facility to do some tests on it. But the sea dragon Leviathan managed to destroy this whole base. This all happened inside the Lost River base, and you can actually see that it is completely destroyed. So next time you go there, you know that it happened because of the Sea Dragon Leviathan. Just like the Sea Dragon Leviathan, I don't really think that the Reaper Leviathan needs an introduction. Because the Reaper Leviathan is also one of the biggest creatures in this game right now. And it is pretty scary. The first time when I encountered the Reaper Leviathan was when I went to the Awara. And I found out that they were patrolling there. And it was pretty scary. I don't really like the Reaper Leviathan. But yeah, that is the first time when I encountered it. But it doesn't only live in close to the Awara. It also lives at the Crash Zone, which is, by the way, just behind the Awara. But it also lives in the dunes, the mountains and the mushroom forest, or well, close to the mushroom forest. It is pretty damn scary to see him. It is pretty damn big. It looks like some kind of snake. And also, it just does a lot of damage. So just try and avoid this creature as well. When it bites you, it does 80% of damage. And the Reaper Leviathan will grab you once your health is under 80%, and then it will instantly kill you. So this creature is actually pretty harmful. The Reaper Leviathan is almost as big as the Cyclops, which is just insane as a creature. And just with the massive claws in front of its face, it will just grab you or your sea moth. The Reaper Leviathan will also attack your sea moth. If it attacks your sea moth, it basically just grabs your sea moth. And he will be shaking and dragging you around for around 10 seconds. If the Reaper Leviathan attacks the sea moth, he will do about 40 or 60% damage to it. So this is really a lot. So make sure that once he attacks you, just get out of there. The Reaper Leviathan will also be able to grab the prawn suit or the exosuit. And it can destroy it. And the damage it deals to the exosuit will be around 15 or 25%. Just one thing I want to say to you guys, if you go to the Awara or one of the biomes you live in, just don't get too close. If you see it or hear it roar, just get away from there, just leave, go away. It is pretty scary and it does a lot of damage. Also, if you fear these kind of creatures, just go inside creative mode and take your sea moth and go to the Awara or any biome it lives in, or just spawn some Reaper Leviathans, and trust me, you won't be scared anymore. The Reaper Leviathan is actually pretty cool, even though it is pretty scary and it will probably kill you. I still think it is pretty cool because it is so big and it is smaller. It is smaller than the Sea Dragon Leviathan, of course, but still, it is still pretty big, and I actually kinda like this creature, even though it is pretty scary. Alright, so guys, that is it for this list, for this video. Just like I said at the start of this video, let me know if you think if I've left any creatures out that you think that should have been inside this list. Also, all my sources are inside the description under this video, so if you want to have any more information about any creature in here, just go to the description and it will probably link you to one of the Wikia pages, which I have most of my information from. So for now, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching this episode, and let me know what you think, what is the creepiest creature in this game right now. Alright, so I'm going to leave this right here. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one. Pop that thing, she gon' pop that.